Hey guys, Andrew, welcome back to the channel. So guys, in the previous video I talked about books that have impacted my life as well, but now I wanted to do online content creators as well because, as I mentioned in the last video, disability we're seeing is becoming a political issue, and that is because in OECD countries it is tied to funding. So funding like care schemes for the NDIS and other equivalent schemes, health, universal healthcare, and universal education. So if you're funding these things from a government level, you need to have clear boundaries of who receives funding, who receives care, and who doesn't. And that's based on functional narratives. But I also see that legacy media is pushing a particular narrative, particularly in Australia, that the NDIS is a cost burden, that it is the participants' fault, that it's a blowout, and not focusing on the systemic failures to rein in cost, to rein in provider charging, provider price gouging, and not having a accreditation process for people with NDIS, and not having supports that aren't NDIS funded, that are community, state funded, or council funded, or even through charity, that stops people with a disability or mental illness or psychosocial disability from falling through the cracks. But guys, in that, a lot of people get into a very media bubble around disability advocacy, and we get into that mentality of, well, I have a disability, so therefore I deserve, which isn't actually a great attitude to have. I've discovered that, and it's caused me a lot of harm. So, some really amazing content creators to follow. And guys, these are both people who are in the mainstream media or content creators who have gone against the grain and have suffered for it, and who encourage critical thinking, which is very much lacking in this day and age. So, guys, the first one and first cab off the rank, I have been following him since the debacle around Bill C-16 in Canada. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but is Dr. Jordan Peterson. He is now working with the Daily Wire as well. So then I've got to do a shout out to the Daily Wire, who talk about political issues. Yes, they are more Canadian and US based, but they do touch on Australian issues as well, because Australia are the leaders in some medical research that people don't realise. And we have the only non government funded medical research lab, the Berghofer Research Institute, that's working towards curing cancer and other diseases. And there's never been any lab security or data breaches in that one as well. So Dr. Jordan Peterson and the team at Daily Wire, great ones to follow. Then JP Sears, who satirises the left, particularly the American left as well. So he goes into like the woke agenda and how victim oppression works, and brings out the idiocracy and the hypocrisy in that leftist movement as well. Then from an Australian bench, very similar thing is Sydney Watson, who is a political commentator and also talks about social justice fails as well. Now, also some honourable mentions to the podcast of Lotus Eaters and AJ over at the Y-Files, who discusses conspiracy theories and debunks them. So goes into UFAs, so unidentified aerial phenomenon, cryptids, and other urban and mysteries that mainstream scientists have brushed off or have completely ignored. But then we've had people working on the so-called fringe who have put together other evidence that people have brushed off, such as guys, why would the Mail need to record 30 days? Just saying. Just have a think about that one. Why would the Mail need to record 30 days? And so he also talks about women in history, the women's role in history as well. And now he also, AJ over there, has openly talked about his mental health struggles as well. So we're going to give him a honourable mention as well. Then the podcast of Lotus Eaters, the podcast of Lotus Eaters talks about, again, woke issues and the left in Britain, the UK and the EU, so issues that are affecting them as well, and the idiocracy, the harm that's coming out through some of the leftist policies as well. Then there's some amazing disability advocates, content creators that need a mention here as well. I am not the only one out there, and these guys have been going for a lot longer than I have. So, first one is Jessica Kelgard-Frezard, who talks about her experience as being disabled and queer as well. Then Molly Burke, who is an American-based content creator who talks about her journey with blindness, being a guide dog user, and also being an inspirational speaker. She travels a lot, so she documents her travels as well. Then Wheels No Heels, Gemma Hubbard, who is an amazing disability advocate as well. Then also an honourable mention to Adam Hills at The Last Leg and his team, who are absolutely amazing as well, because they put the humour in disability topics, point out that we're not above criticism, we're not above reproach as well. Guys, these are a variety of people from the political and other thinking spectrums as well. So I'm trying to get myself out of the bubble, therefore looking at talking to you guys about that one as well. And guys, I hope you're enjoying the shorter length videos. I'm experimenting with length, guys. So thank you so much for watching, and guys, come on, 70% of you guys are still unsubscribed. So if you can like, share, subscribe and comment. Guys, drop it in the comments below if I've missed your favourite disability creator, disability advocate, or even, as I said in the previous video, books that have changed your life as well.